Audrii Cunningham was 11 years old, living in Texas, still at an age where the world felt predictable and safe, where adults were trusted, and danger seemed distant. One ordinary day, she never made it home, and what began as confusion quickly turned into fear as hours passed with no sign of her. The community searched, believing she would be found alive, because the idea that something terrible had already happened was too heavy to accept. This is where the dramatic irony settles in, because while people hoped, the truth was already fixed and unforgiving. Investigators soon realized Audrii had been betrayed by someone who should never have been a threat. Someone close enough to abuse trust and power without raising immediate suspicion. When her body was found, hope collapsed completely, replaced by grief and anger, and the search for a child became a demand for justice. The suspect was arrested, and unlike many cases filled with denial and excuses, he pleaded guilty, silently confirming what investigators already knew. In that moment, the power shifted completely, from a man who believed he could control and destroy, to a justice system that removed his future entirely by sentencing him to life without parole. He would never walk free again, never regain relevance, never escape the consequences of what he did. Audrii's life could not be restored, but her story did not end with her death. It changed how people saw safety, how trust was given, and how vigilance became an act of care rather than fear. The final lesson is painful but clear. Evil often hides behind familiarity, but when truth is faced and accountability is absolute, justice can still stand firm, ensuring that a stolen childhood becomes a permanent warning and that the life taken is honored by never allowing silence or complacency to follow it. After Audrii Cunningham vanished, the investigation moved quietly but urgently, revealing unsettling contradictions beneath the town's calm surface. Timelines did not align, statements shifted, and investigators began to sense that the truth was closer than anyone wanted to believe. While the community held vigils and prayed for a miracle, law enforcement followed evidence that pointed inward rather than outward, toward someone familiar rather than unknown. The tension grew as search efforts intensified, because every hour that passed narrowed the possibilities and darkened the outcome. Then came a discovery that changed the tone of the case entirely, forcing investigators to abandon hope and prepare for confrontation. But before the full truth could be spoken aloud, one critical lead emerged that would expose betrayal at the deepest level and redefine who truly held power in Audrii's final moments. As investigators closed in, the illusion of safety collapsed completely. Evidence confirmed that Audrii had never been beyond reach of those meant to protect her, and the realization sent shockwaves through the community. The search shifted from open fields and roadways to focused interviews and sealed evidence rooms, where every detail carried the weight of irreversible truth. Whispers spread as law enforcement prepared to act, knowing that the next step would permanently alter multiple lives. Behind closed doors, prosecutors reviewed facts that left no room for doubt, while the suspect's control unraveled piece by piece. Yet the most decisive moment had not arrived, because one final action, still unseen by the public, was about to force a confession, end all uncertainty, and determine whether justice would be swift or painfully delayed. The confession came quietly, almost shockingly, in a courtroom that had been waiting for months of preparation, and with it, the full weight of Audrii Cunningham's story finally settled into the record. The suspect admitted to the unthinkable, leaving no room for doubt or denial, and the judge imposed life without the possibility of parole. In that moment, the balance of power shifted forever. The man who had taken a child's life lost all freedom, all control and all chance to rewrite his actions, while Audrei's absence became a permanent force demanding accountability. Outside, the community felt a mixture of relief and lingering grief, a recognition that justice had been served even though nothing could restore what was lost. Schools, homes, and families carried the lessons forward: vigilance, awareness, and responsibility, understanding that trust must be earned and that evil often hides behind familiarity. The lasting truth of Audrii Cunningham's story is unyielding. While life can be stolen, accountability can be absolute, and the impact of a single life, even when cut tragically short, can reshape a community, redefine power, and leave a permanent legacy of protection and justice. Years after the trial, Audrii Cunningham's story continued to ripple through the community, a quiet force shaping how parents, teachers, and neighbors understood safety. Memorials and scholarships bore her name, not as a consolation but as a reminder that her life, though brief, demanded vigilance from those left behind. The man who had taken her life remained imprisoned, powerless, and isolated, a stark contrast to the ongoing influence of the child he had tried to erase. Dramatic irony lingered in the fact that while he once sought control through fear, it was Audrei's story that ultimately commanded attention, reshaped policies, and taught the community to question complacency. Each time her name was spoken in classrooms or during public safety programs, it reinforced the lesson that evil can hide behind familiarity, but awareness and action can prevent it from claiming others. The enduring message of her life is profound and unflinching. Even in the face of irreparable loss, justice, vigilance, and the refusal to forget can create a legacy far stronger than the darkness that sought to destroy it. Long after the trial, Audrii Cunningham's presence continued to shape the town in ways no one could have predicted. Families became more cautious, schools implemented stricter safety measures, and conversations about trust and protection deepened, all because of the life that had been stolen. The man responsible remained behind bars, powerless, a shadow of the false control he once believed he had, while Audrei's story grew larger than any individual, a force that demanded accountability and vigilance. The community, still haunted by grief, began to turn pain into action, teaching children to recognize danger and adults to act without hesitation. The ultimate dramatic irony remained. The attempt to silence her had only amplified her influence. In the quiet of evening vigils, the lessons of her life and death echoed, reminding everyone that evil may arrive hidden in familiarity, but justice, awareness, and the courage to act ensure that her story, and the protections it inspired, would endure indefinitely, leaving a legacy that no sentence, no absence, could ever erase. Audrii Cunningham's story continued to resonate years later, becoming a touchstone for the town and beyond, a constant reminder that vigilance and accountability are not optional. Her memory influenced policy changes, school safety programs, and the way parents spoke to their children about trust and awareness, turning tragedy into lasting action. The man who had taken her life remained confined, his name now synonymous only with the crime, stripped of the power he once wielded, while Audrei's presence persisted in every lesson learned and precaution taken. The community understood, painfully and clearly, that safety requires constant attention, that evil often hides in familiar faces, and that justice, once claimed, does not simply punish, it protects. In the end, the final irony was undeniable. A child who should have been powerless had changed the world around her forever, proving that even a life cut short can leave a permanent mark, ensuring that her story would never be forgotten, and that the responsibility to act in her name would endure across generations. The impact of Audrii Cunningham's life and death continued to unfold in ways no one could have foreseen. Families remained vigilant, schools strengthened safety protocols, and the story of her loss became a powerful teaching tool about the consequences of misplaced trust. The man responsible remained imprisoned, stripped of freedom and relevance, while Audrei's memory became a permanent force in the community, shaping behavior, policies, and awareness. Even as years passed, the dramatic irony persisted. The attempt to erase her life only amplified her influence, reminding everyone that evil often hides in plain sight. But accountability can be absolute. Her story left an unshakable truth. While justice cannot restore what was taken, it can protect what remains. And the legacy of one young life can forever redefine how a community understands safety, power, and the duty to act.